Lenny and Sophie, Sophia, I'm sorry, were the combats, and we're doing women in the military. I specifically was discovering more with my research that women weren't really given a fair opportunity when they joined the military. You know, in the beginning of time of like the 1940s, 1950s, and 60s. And they were very stereotyped. So I was finding more out with General Angelina Salinas. You know, her hard work was very big time of breaking down doors and also leading the path for other women. And what she did was that, you know, she started leading women recruiting training at the Parris Island in South Carolina. She also, in 1986, she led a service, Bath-a-thon at Camp Pendleton. And then she also has recruited she also had her first recruiting station in Charleston, West Virginia. So, you know, most recently she's the chief of staff for the Corps of Recruiting Command, and she with those accomplishments, she has her hard work really has paid off, and it's paid off in a big way of being recognized by not only, you know, breaking down doors, but mostly by her peers. For example, in the article in Marines named first woman to post by Sarah Gordon, retired Marine General David Berg Deham stated, "She's going to be embraced as one of the brothers. She's going to be embraced as one of the Banner brothers." I know that's a sexist comment, but we simply don't have a new and appropriate way to describe that in the 21st century, Gordon. Well, pretty much what he's saying, you know, she's really based on not only as being recognized as breaking down doors, but she's also as like a family member. So as a family member in the military, you know, that's pretty much what you are. You have to be real, you know, depending on people, you know, with your life, depending on people with making the right decisions, you know, because you're part of a unit, you're part of a group. So, and then the next person I was doing more research on was Catherine L. Bowen. She's a very interesting woman. She has some awards that were very good. She was Army Command Medal. She has Good Conduct Medal with 5 leaf clusters and the National Defense Service Medal. The one thing with Catherine L. Bowen is that she's very good in the base of her strong character. And what I mean by her having a strong character is that when she first joined the military, they wanted her to become a cook, as in her military career. And her strong character has to, you know, be tough and say, I don't mind doing that for maybe my first term, but that's not what I'm going to do for my military career. I have other goals that I have set up for myself when I joined an organization called the military. And her goal was to recruit. She loved working with people. She loved getting along with people. She loved working with people where letting them make their own decisions. As in, you know, somebody who wants to join the military, they would come to her, you know, this is what I want to do. She would get to know them, but this is an alley that you could take, or you could take this alley if you decide to choose this career. She never wanted to force her opinion on nobody. So yeah, and you know, there's a quote in the article, Black Wag Joined by What She Wanted to Be by Rudy Williams. Catherine says, why do you want to cook? I told them, as she told the military, because I have an associate's degree, and I don't intend to cook for the rest of my military career. And that shows strong character. Last is probably the best one. Sergeant Monica Lynn Brown. She's the first woman since World War II to receive the Silver Star. She received that award of an incident that happened April 25th in 2007 in Afghanistan, where she saved 5 men in her unit. So that's very, very bravery. That's heroic. You know, saving somebody's life is priceless. You know, as we all know, life is you know, you gotta cherish it because you never know when you'll be here or when you're not. But for her to put her life in front of behind for 5 other people, that's very bravery. That's and getting more into it. In the article, female medic earned Silver Star in Afghan War, 19-year-old, only 2nd woman to receive the Battle Award since World War II. Sergeant Brown states, I accepted the patients to see how bad they were. We tried to move them to a safer location because we were still receiving incoming fire. Now imagine being in a worse position where you have bullets flying at your head, explosions going off. I never joined the military, but I hear a lot of my military friends say, when a bomb happens, everything slows down. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. We gotta ask Mr. Bolster that in the past. But that's what I heard, that it just dings and you're just like, it's slow. Everything's slow. But it also states in the quote, so we dragged them for 100 to 200 meters, got them away from the Humvee a little bit. Humvee is like a military Hummer. I was in kind of a robot mode. So this we're going back to where everything slowed down. She had her training. She cared about other people's lives before her, and her training started kicking in. And that's when she said she turned into in kind of a robot mode and did not think about much but getting the guys taken care of, as in getting them safe. So that's bravery big time.
My part of the presentation is about military sexual abuse, and I quoted it under the top secret, being a little bit sarcastic with it. Military sexual abuse happens more frequently than we all think about. The way I put it in my paper that I did, usually when we think about the military, we think about bravery, honor, brotherhood in bondage. We never once think of anybody getting raped in the military. And this actually is more common in the military than the actual civilian world. For example, this individual here made a huge difference. Military sexual abuse has been going on, and I'll attach to what you said, since the 1940s. A lot of these veteran women that came back, they said 1 in every 3 women that served in the military in the 1940s, Gulf War, World War I, they have all been raped at least once or twice. And this individual here, her name is Corey Kioka. I was the one that watched The Invisible War. It's a documentary of 2012, and it's written and directed by Kirby Dick about sexual assault in the United States military, and it's continuously going on now. In December 2005, this 19-year-old soldier, Corey, was serving in the U.S. Coast Guard and was raped by a commanding officer. During the assault, her jaw was broken. When she attempted to move forward with her case, her own commanding officer told her that if she pursued the issue, she would face court-martial of lying. She is now 26 years old. Her court case, there's nothing that's been done about it. She continues to suffer the PTSD along with nerve damage to her face. She is fighting the Veterans Administration, or the VA as known, to receive approval for surgery that she urgently needs. This woman constantly goes in pain every single day of her life, and it's all due to that one incident. She has also become a plaintiff in a class action civil suit against the Department of Defense, or known as the DOD. Her attacker, who denied the rape, only received 30 days of base restriction. Some pay was taken off, that was it. He is currently serving in the U.S. Coast Guard. He actually recently got promoted and remains honorable in the U.S. Coast Guard. Not only does it happen to females, which a lot of individuals think, oh, it just happens to women, it actually happens to men. And everybody usually thinks, oh, maybe it's the homosexuals. It's really not. It's even the heterosexuals that do all of these crimes in the military. For example, this is Michael F. Matthews. Michael joined the Air Force in 1972 at the age of 18 and served for active of 12 years. One night in 1974, while stationed at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, he was taking a shortcut to his barracks when he was attacked by a fellow service member. He was beaten down, then raped, and sodomized. He was only 19 years old when this happened. Michael did not report his rape. In his words, coming forward with something like this, there's a risk involved and there wouldn't have been any help. Michael kept this secret for 30 years. This is him after 30 years, guys. Michael suffered from depression 4 years and attempted suicide 5 times during that lifespan of 30 years there. Before he went to counseling at the Veterans Administration to try to uncover the source of his turmoil, Michael appeared in the documentary The Invisible War. He has teamed up with Michael Miller to do a documentary on justice denied for only male soldiers who have been victims of the military sexual abuse as well. The statistics, the Department of Defense, or also known as DOD, that in 2010, just alone in that year, over 19,000 sexual assaults occurred in the military. And this includes the most horrific ones you can think about. According to Naomi Wolf, prosecution rates for sexual predators are astoundingly low. So nothing happens to the attackers. They keep going on with their honor in the commanding office, in all the offices that they serve. And who knows, maybe they do it to other individuals. In 2011, officials received 3,192 sexual assault reports, but only 1,518 of those reports led to referrals for a possible disciplinary action, and only 191 military members were convicted at courts martial. I think that's less than 50%. On the other side, I won't read the entire thing, it's pretty long, but according to Jackie Spear, who studies the news on this, in 2003, she revealed that yes, women are the main victims, especially younger women. Let's see, the percentage. Of those who reported having been raped, 37% were raped at least twice, 14% were gang raped. This survey also reveals that it is the younger and more junior women who are victims of this crime, and a smaller fraction of male. What is the process for military sexual abuse? 1, you contact your local sexual assault response coordinator. You also contact the victim advocate or healthcare provider. You may also contact your chain of command or law enforcement, and who knows if they will actually take it up. Seek medical care as soon as possible. Ask the healthcare provider to conduct a sexual assault forensic examination to preserve any forensic evidence. At this point, the VA immediately notifies the appropriate criminal investigation service and the victim's unit commander. Criminal investigators arrive and begin the investigation. Well, according to Corey Sioka, it's been since she was 19, 8 years probably, and still nothing's being done. For Michael, he barely spoke up. It's going to take probably another few years for him to get justice as well. What is being done about the military sexual report? The DOD Defense Secretary Leon Panetta speaks at the Pentagon on June 2012. Panetta announced a plan to better train military lawyers in prosecuting sex crimes. The lawyers that handle these cases with the military, with the soldiers, they pretty much tell them they're not going to believe us. The laws are very tricky, nothing's going to get done. So they almost discourage these individuals. Panetta emphasizes that the military will now keep records of sexual assault on file longer to aid in the prosecution, and will also transfer troops who have been sexually assaulted to new units. That's a good thing, so they don't have to see their attacker again. General Peter Shirelli, the Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, Shirelli is examining the possibility of reconfiguring barracks housing, which now more closely resemble civilian apartment to offer troops more privacy. This on the other side, but could lead to some security breaches as well. Are there any questions about this presentation on military sexual abuse?
I'm going to talk about the effects of war when the soldiers come back from war, and the effects that it has on the families as well. So some soldiers, when they come back, may feel that they're not needed or wanted. Also, the divorce rates have risen, and then also they experience PTSD. When returning home from deployment, they may not feel that they are wanted or not needed because their family has already gotten used to adjusting without them being there, and children are only listening to the one that's there and doesn't feel that they may have to listen to the other one because they haven't been there for so long. In 2011, National Public Radio interviewed Sergeant Odetta Johnson, who deployed in 2005 when her children were 8 and 10. She was shocked to see that her son had grown 2 to 3 inches and her daughter now had completely needed dressed out. She mentioned, I was expecting to come home to something like it was when I left, so she was expecting everything to remain exactly the same. For the divorce rating in the armed forces, it stands at 3.6 per thousand couples compared to a rate of 2.6 per thousand couples in 2001 when the war first started. It doesn't only happen with the parents or the spouses that are here that want the divorce, it's also the ones that return. In an article written in Dallas Morning News, Amy Abada said that when her husband returned home from the deployment, he wanted a divorce from their 15 years of marriage because he had already gotten used to being alone. So the next thing is post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a psychological condition triggered by a major traumatic event such as rape, war, a terrorist act, death of a loved one, a natural disaster, or catastrophic disaster. Symptoms don't always occur immediately. It can happen months later, years later. But the symptoms that they may experience are feeling upset about things that remind them of what happened, having nightmares, losing interest, feeling numb about something that they were once interested in, feeling depressed, anxious, jittery, irritated, also having trouble sleeping, trouble focusing, and having trouble relating to family or friends. That's it.
Any questions you have for us?
No, I saw how some of the women are honored,
Yes, ma'am.
right? And, the Band of Brothers, is that a compliment?
That's pretty much what it is. Getting more detail into it, if somebody's has a coworker, they did a great job, hey, great job. So it's really much just being a Band of Brothers, as in you're one of us. Not only did you prove yourself, but also maybe you exceeded to what our expectations were.
And I was curious if there were any women recruiters, so you cleared that up.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
are, right?
Mhm.
And was Brown, she was one of the, that, she was Silver Star, and she on the front lines. Do you know?
That's pretty much being out there in the battleground. I think you're pretty much on the front lines. So yes,
Yeah.
bullets being fired at you, yeah, you're on the front lines.
She was a nurse, right? Or something
Yes,
related?
she was one of the nurses out there to help the unit out.
But they really are on the front lines, and I think one of, they said the front line, there's a blur, they're not supposed to be in contact with it, they really are. Genevieve, how about, now that you're beginning to have more and more information about the sexual assault going on, it's been going on for some time, do you think there's beginning to have a difference as far as the military beginning to face the sexual assault occurrences, and are they beginning to punish those perpetrators, like, for example, in the Lackland Air Force Base situation? Do you know what that, training instructor received?
I did a little bit more research for the one here in Lackland Air Force Base.
Uh-huh.
They've made some improvement. They actually took action with that sergeant that sexually assaulted this woman. He was punished, however, he's still serving in the Army. I don't know the full details, but they are making some improvements. As I did more research on everything that's been going on, the Invisible War made a huge impact on everybody, but there's been other spotlights. There's been other movies, other documentaries that show just recently that it's been just really out there. Everybody knows about it. Now they're starting to make a difference. I'm referring to the DOD and military.
Maybe because there's more women now. in the
Coming
service.
out,
Yeah.
and even males.
Okay, Sophia, you did a nice job as far as showing us what, well, a lot of times what doesn't get attention, and that's the after effects.